What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how Atletico Madrid absolutely destroyed Real Madrid in the Madrid Derby and La Liga Matchday 7. Now, this is a result that I didn't expect at all whatsoever, and I don't think that most people, whether it was Madrid fans, Barca fans, Atletico fans, didn't expect this result either. I mean, especially given the context behind this match and prior to this match, you have Real Madrid who are looking promising under Xabi Alonso prior to this match and going on an unbeaten run, winning every game in La Liga so far. Meanwhile, on the other hand, you have Atletico Madrid who have been looking underwhelming for the most part of the season and have been dropping points left and right by losing or drawing games and leaving a lot to be desired. However, despite all of that, Atletico Madrid just find a way to absolutely destroy and demolish Real Madrid, and we do have to go over that because what happened with Real Madrid? How exactly did Atletico Madrid perform also for the score to end 5-2 in favor of them? Now we're gonna go ahead and get into all of that right now. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Your guys' support truly does mean a lot to me and goes a long way in helping out this channel. I mean, if you're a Barca fan like me, this is probably one of the best hate watches you've seen. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So going into this match, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid did start off with these lineups right here. As for Real Madrid, this is one of their stronger lineups that we have seen throughout the season. However, with one crucial change. Instead of Masantuano starting in this match, we did have Jude Bellingham starting. Now with Jude Bellingham starting, he did get the start in the number 10 position, and that forced Arda Güler to play on the right hand side. And given the context behind Jude Bellingham's situation, Jude Bellingham, he was set to be out until mid-October due to his shoulder injury. However, he did return way ahead of time than anybody expected. And this is only his second game back from that injury, and he hasn't played since July. So, given that context, and to see Masantuano bench, Arda Güler forced into the right, you do have to say that this was a pretty strange move from Xabi Alonso. But it wouldn't be the worst thing we would see in the match, as we'll go ahead and get onto from Xabi Alonso. But Jude Bellingham gets the start in the number 10 position, and Arda Güler starts on the right hand side, with Masantuano, who I showed promise throughout the start of the season, is left out. And as for Atletico Madrid have varied from 4-4-2 to 5-3-2, 3-5-2. And today in Atletico Madrid's lineup, they do start off with the 4-4-2. And I do have to say it is a pretty attacking 4-4-2. I mean, you had Simeone and Nico Gonzalez on the left and right hand side. You had Julian Alvarez, who scored a hat-trick against Rayo Vallecano, had a really great performance overall, and really sent the statement out to Diego Simeone of why he deserves to be in the starting lineup. And Alexander Sorloth will get the start alongside of him, which will prove to be really crucial in this match. So those are the lineups right there that both teams did start off with. Now let's go ahead and get into the match itself. Going into the match, Real Madrid did start off pretty shaky. That was also with the combination of Atletico Madrid starting off the match really well. Now, as for Atletico Madrid, they did start off a match with a real intensity about them, but also with an actual game plan. That game plan being of forcing turnovers against Madrid and either getting balls in behind Real Madrid's back line or getting crosses in. I mean, of course, when you have Sorloth in the box, you could get crosses in, or you could get balls in behind with the likes of Julian Alvarez, who would make those runs as well, along with Alexander Sorloth, who could also make those runs. So, in the first 10 to 15 minutes, it would basically give us a tone of what we would see throughout the match as a whole. You had Atletico Madrid, who would create about 3 or 4 clear-cut chances against Real Madrid, forcing turnovers against them, and getting those balls in behind to the likes of Sorloth, who would just be defended by against Real Madrid's backline through last ditch defending, or he would just about miss those chances. And there was also a few chances that would be created from crosses as well. And that's actually how Real Madrid will end up getting their first goal. Now, Real Madrid throughout this match, they were just struggling against Atletico Madrid with those through balls sent in behind and the crosses coming in. And their first goal starts from the left-hand side, Real Madrid's left-hand side, who Alvaro Carreras, I do have to say, had a really poor game overall. He looked really shaky, really nervous. And the goal comes from his side. It's a cross into Real Madrid's penalty box. And I do have to say that for this goal, it was really poor defending from Real Madrid. You have about 2 to 3 players in the box, and Lenormand is able to get his header in. And I do have to say it's a really good goal for Atletico Madrid, for them to be able to go up 1-0, but also really poor defending from Real Madrid. As how are you going to have Lenormand be able to get a header in between 2 to 3 players, in between Tchouaméni, Hoitzin, and Eder Militao? It was really bad defending to see from Real Madrid standards, but also really good goal for Atletico. And before you know it, Atletico Madrid are 1-0 up in the Madrid derby. After this goal, Real Madrid did look a little bit shaken, but they were still looking to make things happen. You had them holding on to the possession, and you had the likes of Vinicius and Mbappe trying to combine, trying to drive at the defenders of Atletico. But it would be hard, as Atletico Madrid were defending really compact and they were defending really well. And it also wouldn't help since you have your most creative player, your most fit player on the right-hand side, and you have Jude Bellingham, who I have to say Jude Bellingham had a really bad game overall today. This is not to bash Jude Bellingham at all, but like I said, he hasn't been playing since July. This is just his first game back. And you can see how rusty he was after not playing and being out injured for so long. And to throw him in a match like this, of this intensity, is just crazy. His touches were off. He wasn't giving those passes as sharp as he usually would. And he didn't have those sharp movements we know. He basically wasn't playing like the Jude Bellingham we know. And you had Arda Güler on the right-hand side. But despite Arda Güler being on the right-hand side, he would still look to make things happen, and he actually did look to make things happen. He was actually Real Madrid's best player throughout this match, I would have to say, in my opinion, as he would contribute to the first and second goal. Now, the first goal for Real Madrid, it would come from Arda Güler. Now, it was beautiful combination play in between Arda Güler and Mbappe. Arda Güler sends a beautiful through ball into Mbappe, who is running in behind Atletico Madrid's defense. And you know when Mbappe gets those chances one-on-one against the goalkeeper, he's going to kill those chances. That's how lethal he is. And before you know it, you have Real Madrid get even with Atletico Madrid, making the score 1-1. And that goal actually did come out of nowhere. It just came from individual brilliance from those two and really nice interplay in between Real Madrid. But it was 1-1. And after that goal, you did sense a little bit of the momentum going towards Real Madrid. And not long after, Real Madrid would end up getting their second goal. Now, Real Madrid were looking to attack a little bit more against Atletico Madrid. And from a poor clearance from Atletico Madrid's defense, the ball ends up getting to Vini, who drives at the Atletico Madrid defense, trying to get the ball as forward as he can. But he ends up cutting the ball back and gives a beautiful cross into Arda Güler, who is running in to the penalty box. And Arda Güler, I do have to say, has a nice and clean finish, half volley, to make the score 2-1 in favor of Real Madrid. And from there, you would just sense that maybe Real Madrid will get away with this result, or maybe at best the match will probably end at the tie. But it was still a lot of games to be left, and Atletico Madrid, even after that second goal, they started getting momentum back. There was actually a few clear-cut chances that they did create against Real Madrid. I mean, Julian Alvarez, he had a shot on goal, which would just hit the post and go out wide. But Atletico Madrid were continuing to be menacing against Real Madrid. They did end up also create a few chances through crosses, and that's actually how the second goal will end up coming as well. So the second goal, it would end up coming from Alexander Sorloth. You have Sorloth, who in the penalty box again, poor marking from Real Madrid's defense. Sorloth is able to get in between Dean Huijsen and Alvaro Carreras and head the ball in just before the halftime to make it 2-2. And after that second goal for Atletico Madrid, they actually had another chance through another cross to make it 3-2. But luckily for Real Madrid, the first half ends 2-2, and it would be really important for them to at least try to get organized or to try to find a way to manage the game. However, manage it in the second half, they would not, as we would see. And we do have to get onto those 3 goals that Atletico Madrid did end up scoring in the second half. But crazy first half overall. You have 4 goals that are being scored. You have Atletico Madrid basically causing alarm bells to ring and danger for Real Madrid, but Real Madrid still finding a way to get 2 goals. It was really intense. But there would be crucial changes that Xabi Alonso in the second half would make, which would honestly just kill the game and put the game in favor of Atletico Madrid, which we're going to go ahead and get on to. Now, Real Madrid, going into the second half, they did not end up taking out Eder Militao and putting Raúl Asensio. Eder Militao, during the first half, he did end up making a last-ditch tackle against Alexander Sorloth to prevent a goal, and he did get hurt in that tackle. So I'm assuming that's probably the reason why he did end up getting taken off, to just either prevent injury, or he probably was already injured, just playing through the pain. But Real Madrid will only make that change going into the second half. And you would think that Real Madrid, after that first half performance from Atletico Madrid, and just given how little they were creating, how vulnerable they looked, that they would start off with a different game plan, or to look to change things, or just looking to make something different in the second half happen. But that wasn't the case at all whatsoever. Again, Atletico Madrid, just time and time again, they kept getting in behind Real Madrid and just kept getting crosses into the box, and that is how Atletico Madrid would end up getting their third goal. It was a ball crossed into the box for an Atletico Madrid player, and Real Madrid defending so poorly in those crosses, Arda Güler ends up getting a high boot into the face of Nico Gonzalez, trying to clear the ball out, and concedes a penalty. And that's a undebatable penalty. It was dangerous play from Arda Güler. Yes, he did end up scoring those. He did end up scoring that goal to make it 2-1, and also did provide the assist for Real Madrid's first goal. But he did cause a penalty as well. And before you know it, Julian Alvarez slots away the penalty and leaves it 3-2 for Atletico Madrid. It would be really harsh though from Xabi Alonso, as Xabi Alonso would just try to make changes to bring the tie in favor of Real Madrid. But if anything, Xabi Alonso's changes killed the game for Real Madrid, because yes, Arda Güler did end up committing a penalty, which ended up leading to Atletico Madrid scoring. However, Arda Güler was one of the Real Madrid's best players on the pitch. He provided an assist for the first goal. He ended up scoring the second goal. And for Arda Güler to be taken out instead of Jude Bellingham, that's where right there I do think the game was lost for Real Madrid. After Jude Bellingham was left on the pitch and Arda Güler was taken out, Jude Bellingham didn't have a good game at all. And like I said, it's understandable. He is just coming back from injury. But how are you going to take out Arda Güler? You're a player who has been one of the bright spots in this match, trying to look to make things happen despite, not playing in his preferred position in the season. That honestly, that change right there just killed the match. You had Masantuano come in, who Masantuano should have came in for Jude Bellingham instead of Arda Güler, but Masantuano comes in for Arda Güler, and you have Camavinga coming in for Dani Carvajal. And again, Atletico Madrid, they just made it really hard for Real Madrid to create anything at all. Atletico Madrid were defending really compact, but also Real Madrid didn't have a real creator inside the field. I mean, Jude Bellingham, like I said, he wasn't 100% fit, so you can't really blame him. And they did end up taking Jude Bellingham out eventually. They ended up bringing on attackers. You had the likes of Gonzalo Garcia and Rodrigo coming in. But despite all those attackers coming on, you had 5 attackers altogether, to the point where you didn't even know what Real Madrid's defensive structure was. They couldn't create anything at all whatsoever, and Atletico Madrid just kept causing trouble for Real Madrid. And Real Madrid would actually get their 4th goal from Julian Alvarez once again. Julian Alvarez, he ends up scoring a beautiful free kick against Courtois from about 25-30 yards out. And the foul prior to that came from a counter-attack from Atletico Madrid. And it was just, I would have to say, pure control, pure dominance from Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid, they couldn't create anything at all whatsoever. They were having a really hard time. I don't even think in the second half they had created anything. And you just had Atletico Madrid looking to see the game out. They were making changes, bringing on the likes of Griezmann, Gallagher, Baena, Molina, Javi Galan to just see the game out and to look to waste time in general. And if you think 4-2 wasn't bad enough, it would end up being worse, as on around the 90th minute, 93rd minute, Atletico Madrid would end up scoring their 3rd goal, which comes from a really poor mistake from Real Madrid. They end up losing the ball in the middle of the park, and you have Atletico Madrid counter-attacking them. You have Griezmann running in behind, and Griezmann, who ends up scoring the 5th goal, ends his goal drought and is able to get his 1st goal after about 25 games or so of not scoring in La Liga. And the match ends 5-2 in favor of Atletico Madrid. Towards the end of the match, Masantuano kicks the ball towards the Atletico Madrid fans, and that basically summarizes up the match for Real Madrid. A really frustrating result for Real Madrid, really poor from them, I do have to say. Particularly from Xabi Alonso, who I do have to say, not only he did start off with that really poor decision of starting Jude Bellingham, but also the changes he would make throughout the match and his in-game management wasn't there today at all. And as for Atletico Madrid, you do have to give them props where props is due. Atletico Madrid throughout the season, they have been pretty shaky, pretty underwhelming, pretty poor, but this is a really huge win for them. They had gotten a win against Rayo Vallecano in the last game, and now they get another win in this game. And you would just have to see if Atletico Madrid could keep this momentum going, as again, Atletico Madrid, they don't have a bad squad. They do have a quality squad, and you would have to think that with that squad that they do have, that they should be able to keep going and be able to compete against these other teams. If they could do it against Real Madrid, they should be able to do it against these other teams. And in terms of a league table, you have Atletico Madrid, who are really behind on points, getting really crucial points for them, which is good for them. But then you have Real Madrid drop points now. And with Barca having a game in hand, if Barca are able to get full points against Real Sociedad, they will be on top of the La Liga table once more. So it was a really crucial result for both teams, you know, in different aspects. For Atletico Madrid to be able to get some real momentum going in the league, and for Real Madrid to be able to stay unbeaten, but that wasn't the case at all. And you guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I do think this was an absolutely crazy game with a lot of goals, of course, a lot of questionable decisions from Xabi Alonso, and just the overall performances of certain players within the match. It was a really interesting match to see. But you guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Again, for those of you guys that are new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. You guys' support truly does go a long way in helping me out with keeping these videos going. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.